What if I told you the fastest production muscle car in the world isn't just a rumor, it's here. The 2026 Dodge Demon 170 takes muscle car insanity to a whole new level, packing jaw-dropping horsepower, record-shattering acceleration, and a sound that feels like thunder on wheels. But in today's world of electric dominance and luxury speed machines, can raw gasoline power still claim the crown? Or will the Demon meet its match on the drag strip against the latest challengers? Stick around, because what you're about to see may change the way you look at muscle cars forever. The Dodge Demon name has always carried a certain weight in the muscle car world. It's raw, unapologetic, and built to push the limits of what a street-legal car can be. Now, in 2026, Dodge is rewriting the rule book again with the Demon 170, a car designed not just for weekend enthusiasts, but for anyone who wants the feeling of a drag strip rocket at their fingertips. This launch comes at a fascinating moment in the automotive world. Electric cars are dominating the headlines with instant torque and futuristic tech, while muscle cars have been fighting to prove they still belong on the stage. That's what makes the Demon 170 so important. It isn't just another upgrade. It's Dodge planting a flag in the ground, declaring that raw horsepower still has a place in the future. But here's the real question. How does this beast stack up against its rivals, both gas and electric? And is it really worth the hype? We're about to find out. The first thing that strikes you about the 2026 Dodge Demon 170 is the design. From the moment it pulls into view, you know this isn't just another Dodge Challenger variant. The wide stance, the massive hood scoop, and the aggressive lines all scream performance. Dodge hasn't gone subtle here. The Demon wants to be noticed. Whether it's parked at a gas station or lined up at the drag strip, it looks like a car that's ready to eat the road alive. Step inside, and you'll find a cabin that balances old-school muscle car DNA with just enough modern touches to feel fresh. The thick steering wheel, the low-slung driver's seat, and the cockpit-like layout all remind you that this car was built with the driver in mind. Dodge has kept the interior functional rather than futuristic, which will appeal to purists who care more about horsepower than touchscreens. Still, you'll find performance pages on the digital display, real-time data tracking, and enough connectivity to make sure it doesn't feel outdated. But the real story here is under the hood. The Demon 170 is powered by a supercharged V8 that delivers numbers so outrageous they almost don't sound real. Over 1,000 horsepower, quarter-mile times that dip into the single digits, and a 0 to 60 sprint that feels less like acceleration and more like teleportation. Dodge claims this is the fastest production muscle car in history, and when you hear that engine roar, it's hard to argue. The sound alone is enough to raise goosebumps. It's thunder on demand. Of course, with that much power comes a few trade-offs. This isn't the kind of car you daily drive through city traffic without effort. The suspension is stiff, the ride is aggressive, and fuel economy? Let's just say you'll know your gas station attendant by name. But then again, nobody buys a Demon to save money at the pump. You buy it because nothing else on the road makes you feel quite this alive. Performance, though, is more than just horsepower. Dodge has reinforced the chassis, optimized the aerodynamics, and fitted the Demon 170 with tires that look more like drag slicks than street rubber. The result is a car that hooks to the asphalt with brutal efficiency. Still, here's where things get interesting. Rivals like the Tesla Model S Plaid and the Lucid Air Sapphire can launch just as fast, sometimes faster, without a drop of gasoline. Electric power brings instant torque and quiet dominance, while Dodge is betting on noise, drama, and tradition. So the question becomes, in a world where EVs are redefining speed, does a gasoline-powered monster like the Demon still hold the crown? And that's not the only twist. We haven't even talked about price yet. and Dodge's strategy there might surprise you. Because while this car is built for extreme performance, it also undercuts some of its biggest rivals in cost, at least for now. Stick with me, because in just a moment, we'll break down the highlights, the drawbacks, and the one detail about the Demon 170 that could make or break its legacy. And here's where everything comes to a head. Numbers on paper are one thing, but how does the Demon 170 actually feel when you put your foot down? The answer is, unlike anything else on the road. The moment you smash the throttle, the rear tires bite with a violence that pins you back into the seat. The supercharged V8 screams to life, and suddenly you're not driving a car. You're strapped to a cannonball. 0 to 60 comes and goes in less than 2 seconds, and by the time you register what just happened, the quarter mile is already over. It's not just fast, it's terrifying in the best way possible. But then comes the twist. Line it up against an electric rival like the Tesla Model S Plaid, and the silence of EV torque feels almost alien compared to the Demon's raw thunder. The Plaid rockets forward with clinical precision, no drama, no wheel spin, just pure efficiency. For a moment, it even edges ahead. And yet, when the Demon claws back with its explosive top-end power, you realize this isn't a simple battle of old versus new. It's a clash of philosophies, brute force versus digital dominance. And here's the surprise. Despite its insane power, the Demon 170 isn't invincible. Push it hard on anything other than a perfectly prepped strip, and the sheer aggression can be overwhelming. It demands skill, respect, and maybe a little bit of fear. This is not a car that forgives mistakes, but that's exactly why it feels so alive. At this point, the question isn't just whether the Demon is the fastest muscle car ever built. It's whether it has redefined what a muscle car even means in 2026. Because while rivals are chasing quiet, futuristic perfection, Dodge has chosen chaos, noise, and unapologetic horsepower. So, after all the smoke, the speed, and the drama, where does the 2026 Dodge Demon 170 really stand? The verdict is simple. This is the purest expression of old-school muscle in a modern era that's quickly moving electric. Its pros are undeniable: jaw-dropping horsepower, quarter-mile dominance, and a design that looks as aggressive as it drives. For enthusiasts who want raw excitement, for those who live for the sound of a roaring V8 and the thrill of holding on to a beast barely contained by its tires, the Demon 170 delivers an experience no EV can replicate. But let's be honest, this car isn't for everyone. Its drawbacks are clear. Fuel economy is nearly non-existent. It demands skill and control to master, and daily comfort takes a back seat to performance. And when you stack it up against rivals like the Tesla Model S Plaid or Lucid Air Sapphire, the Demon can't always claim the crown in every test. EVs bring consistency, ease, and futuristic speed. The Demon counters with drama, soul, and tradition. In today's US market, that makes the Demon 170 more than just a car. It's a statement. It shows there's still room for gasoline passion in an EV-dominated future. Dodge isn't just selling a vehicle. They're selling an experience, a piece of history, and perhaps one of the last great muscle cars in its purest form. So, who should buy it? If you want the fastest way from A to B with no fuss, you'll probably lean electric. But if you want every drive to feel like an event, if you want your heart to race and your neighbors to hear your arrival from blocks away, the Demon 170 is your car. Now I want to hear from you. Does Dodge's Demon 170 still deserve the crown of King Muscle Car, or has the EV era already taken over? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-world reviews and comparisons. Because this battle between old power and new tech, it's only just getting started.